Although Khabib Nurmagomedov ended his brilliant career more than a year and a half ago, both fans and athletes continue to discuss it. In particular, Henry Cejudo, known as the Triple Champion thanks to 2 UFC belts and Olympic gold in 2008, loves to talk about the Eagle's legacy. This time, Cejudo lamented that Khabib did not dare to rise to the welterweight category. The Eagle was the king of lightweight, but there are better monsters in the welterweight division. Chimaev's goal is to be the greatest fighter of all time, to walk away with 2 or 3 titles. That's why I wanted Khabib to move up to welterweight. He should have retired as a double champion, Cejudo said on his own Triple C and Schmo Show podcast. First, it's worth answering the question, whether Khabib killed everyone in the lightweight division. Although the Russian held only 3 title defenses, it can be stated that he defeated most of the top rivals. The only exceptions were the current UFC champion Charles Oliveira and the talkative Tony Ferguson, but one in 2020 was a little early to fight Khabib, and the other was too late. Let's say Nurmagomedov does not end his career after defeating Justin Gaethje, but announces a transition to welterweight. What's next? We can say with confidence that the Dagestan would have no problems with the dimensions. Of course, Khabib is far from the height and scope of Chimaev's arms, but as a welterweight, the Eagle would look absolutely natural and weight loss would be much less painful. But the level of competition in the new division would be too high for Khabib. Of course, Nurmagomedov would still become a star and confidently enter the top 3, but getting the title would be extremely difficult. What do you think? Would Khabib pass Colby Covington? The American has excellent wrestling and crazy stamina, trump cards for which the Eagle himself was famous. Would it be impossible to use the famous ground and pound against Colby? I think yes, but a lot of fighters doubt it. Here, even the famous fighter BJ Penn shared his opinion about the weaknesses of Khabib Nurmagomedov. The MMA veteran suggested that the Russian had poor jiu-jitsu skills. Since Khabib calls himself the greatest lightweight of all time, and I am second on his list, many have asked me why Nurmagomedov, for example, did not fight Kamaru Usman for the belt. I think that Khabib is not very confident in himself because he is weak in jiu-jitsu. He is uncomfortable fighting someone who is bigger and stronger than him, although I have done this many times in my career. I've fought all sorts of weights thanks to my black belt in jiu-jitsu. This system teaches the little man to beat the big one. Khabib says he's the best grappler, but he just hasn't fought bigger opponents. His style just isn't ready for it, Penn wrote on his Instagram. Nurmagomedov would have had an even harder time with Kamaru Usman. The Nigerian has long turned into an invincible machine with virtually no weaknesses. Usman himself could take the Eagle down using his wrestling skills and unique physical strength. Of course, Khabib would still have chances, but it is impossible to consider him the favorite of the fight with Usman. Fortunately, history took a different path. The Eagle remained an undefeated fighter and a lightweight legend. And when they asked Usman about a possible fight with former lightweight champion Khabib, Usman responded, "It would be the greatest fight in UFC history. But the problem is that it won't happen. But organizing a fight with George St-Pierre versus Khabib, this is more likely," Usman said.
Absolutely. The other biggest fight to make is Khabib. If Khabib decided to go up to 170.
Yeah, but I would never fight Khabib.
Really?
Yeah. That's my brother. It's just like a mutual respect where I don't see myself ever fighting Khabib.
But the legendary George St-Pierre hasn't entered the octagon since 2017, but he's still considered a potential rival for Khabib. The former UFC welterweight champion was an absolutely dominant fighter, successfully defending his belt 9 times. St-Pierre continues to keep fit and give the Eagle a lot of problems in the octagon. The Canadian is much older, but his unique experience and skills on the ground will be a serious obstacle to the victory of the Russian in a possible fight between the 2 legends. Fighting with Usman would be the greatest fight in UFC history, but alas, this fight is not destined to be, and we can only dream about how their fight would go. It's no secret that Khabib has had a hard time with a weight race up to 70 kilograms. If he decides to return to the sport, the ideal option would be to move up to welterweight, where Kamaru Usman now rules. The Nigerian dominates even more confidently than Khabib once did. He has not lost since 2014 and destroys all significant contenders for the belt. Nurmagomedov may become his next victim because Usman literally has no weak points. Even in the ground game, the Russian will have an extremely difficult time with Kamaru. He would definitely have given Nurmagomedov the most difficult fight. Usman fights well, is dangerous in striking technique, and what weaknesses could the Eagle be able to find on him? Former UFC fighter Mike Swick believes that if anyone can beat Khabib, it's Islam Makhachev. Stylistically, Islam is a little different from Nurmagomedov, acting even more aggressively and assertively. His judo skills are admired even by the former sparring partners of the Eagle, who note the superiority of Islam over Khabib. If the two friends met in the octagon under some incredible circumstances, then Khabib is unlikely to be considered a favorite.
All right, Islam, a lot has been made about you being the second coming of Khabib Nurmagomedov. And while Khabib was still training, he was top dog. But Khabib is no longer fighting. So how does the practices look now? How does the practices look with you and him?
But now I cannot practice. Maybe you, now you same way do you
I was
did.
gonna say different.
But
No.
You have to care, but maybe he gonna come back, but and he not gonna be 150 fight. He fight 170 for sure.
Oh, he fights light heavyweight, 205.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
205.
Bilal came by before and said the same thing, that heavyweight Khabib is a little bit different.
Khabib is one of the greatest fighters in history. At the optimal athletic age, be that as it may, Nurmagomedov ended his career and is unlikely to change his mind. He had good reasons to leave the sport, but if the Eagle does return to the octagon, we will be very happy to see it. Any fight with any fighter and in any weight. Blogger Hasbullah Magomedov, known by the nickname Hasbik, weighs less than 20 kilograms, not fitting into any division. But he really wants to fight Khabib, and the almighty Dana White has already promised that he will think about organizing the fight. If Khabib had to fight with his little comrade, he would definitely not beat him out of a sense of gentlemanship. So Hasbik could well win. Although this is, of course, a joke. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments. Before we end this video, we would like to ask you to support our second channel, where we also will be covering topics in the fighting world. Please click the link in the comments and support the channel with a subscription. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit like and subscribe for future MMA breakdowns. Thanks for watching.